Good morning, y'all. It is an absolutely gorgeous morning here in Big Sandy, Tennessee. Look at this view. Man, that don't get old. I love it. Beautiful. Little God's country, you know what I mean? So on today's video, we are going to get started with the prepping of all of the gravel for our footing. We're going to install a drain, which is just a 4-inch perforated pipe. And then we are going to install our ICF, our Insulated Concrete Forms, which is the EZ form by Monoslab. As I said in my other video, we are going to use gravel. We are going to use limestone for our footing. We're not using a conventional concrete footing. I've been using Superior walls for many years, and let me hold on, we got a loud car. He was letting her eat. But we are going to be using a gravel footing. Like I said, I've been using Superior walls. It does set on a gravel footing, which if you kind of think about it, it's kind of weird, but it's not. I don't know. There's a lot of pros for using a gravel type footing. And I'll have a chart on here. Superior walls, I'll get the Superior walls, their chart for their load properties on the gravel, the depth of it, how it distributes a load. So if you take, I believe it's like 6 inches deep of limestone gravel, which is the number 7 is what we use. It's 3/8 to half of an inch. It's jagged edges. Once you compact that, I believe it's a 60-degree angle that it comes off of, where your wall is 10 inches wide. So at 60 degrees, I think it is a bearing point of 16 to 17 inches wide. So there's a lot of structural integrity in a gravel footing. You wouldn't think so, but it is. And that is mainly due to the shape of it. It's really jagged. You know what I mean? So once you compact them together, they interlock together. If you've ever used limestone and you compact it, it is just like walking on concrete once you get it tamped down. It just interlocks to itself. It is really, really sound. So it acts as a structural part of the system. And then another part of it I like is you can use it as a drain, because it is clean washed. There are no fines in it to hold water. Everything will just drain through it. So it is ideal for a basement system when you do that footing, because your whole foundation acts as a giant drain. We'll get into the Monoslab EZ form. So as you can see, it is a triangle. This is 16 by 16. So these are for frost protected shallow footings. So this just eliminates all that frost heave without getting super deep into the ground. It is kind of designed for Wyoming, kind of Colorado, kind of that area. I guess maybe it's too rocky to really dig really deep. I don't know exactly. I've not even been to that region really. Well, I just went to SASHCO. SASHCO invited me to go to Denver, the headquarters, so I did get to go there, see a little bit of the building process on a high efficiency home out there. But so it is kind of designed for that area. It's supposed to speed up your installation. You can kind of set these, backfill them, instead of having to do a ton of form work. If you do a ton of form work, then you have a whole lot of bracing. This kind of acts as a brace just by using the ground. In my case, I used some limestone to kind of pile on there, and it really did work. I will share a couple load tables from Monoslab, but on a 16-inch form, I believe it is R57 right here on the bottom. I think it starts out like at a 3.2 or 3.8 maybe. So as you get down, of course, it's got more R value. And this basically just insulates your whole slab. It gives you a thermal break between the exterior and your slab, which is ideal in my situation because we are doing radiant heat. And if you don't have a thermal break with a radiant system, the outside air, the outside temperature will severely drop the heat in the floor. I'd built a house several years, the first house we really ever built. I was kind of new. We did put radiant heat in it, but the way I did my slab, I did not have a thermal break, and my concrete from the front door touched the sidewalk. It would literally suck the cold in the wintertime. It would suck the cold probably 10 to 12 feet into the front room. So a thermal break is very necessary for a radiant heat floor system. That was one of their first, well, I guess you can still get that form, but they do make an adjustable form now that you can kind of raise and lower your grade height. So you'll see in the video, I kind of have an issue with that. I kind of get fed up with it a little bit because it was a new system to me, and there's no adjustability really with that form. So I was kind of aggravated a little bit. I kind of had to vent one day. but overall, it is a good system. I do like the fact that you can use earth or gravel to help hold the concrete back, because on a 16-inch tall wall, that's a lot of pressure. So being able to use gravel, just take the backhoe and fill it up over on top of it. Once you kind of get your outline set, it really helped with the bracing. We did use some additional bracing, but the gravel really is really what holds the whole system, back. So we'll go back and give you a little close-up view of what it kind of looks like since it's been sitting here for probably nearly almost a year. So as you see in the video, I've got a brick ledge and my brick is setting on the foam, which actually the foam itself actually came up to here. So once we got our brick ledge in there, I just took the Sawzall, cut it off, and then of course they laid the brick to there, and now I can bring my grade and I'll just bring it up, and cover the foam up a little bit. I may cut that down just a little bit more at more of an angle, and then just bring the dirt to about right in there to where I have a nice slope off from the house. On the backside of the house, you can really see the grade difference between the front. I think we had about 8 or 10 inches on the front, and this is 16 back here, so you can see the whole EZ form that is exposed, which I am gonna have to put, dirt and everything to kind of build this grade up. So I'm not really worried about that. The foam has really held up well to the elements. It's had a little bit of wear, but honestly, it's held up really well. And I believe it's just an EPS foam, just a little BB foam. So, but it was good. The brick layers, the mortar and stuff really didn't stick to it. So once they got done laying brick, I just kind of knocked it off of there and we were done with it. But it's held up really well. So as far as cost, I can't remember how many lineal feet I bought. 300 something for 350 maybe. I don't know. It was about $4,500 for the forms. But if you look at that, if you're going to do a lot of wood, I mean, the wood would be cheaper, but man, you're just wasting it. I mean, it's not, unless you're in the business of forming up slabs, you're not going to use it again. And then once it sets for 3 months or whatever in the water and all that, the wood's really not good, to be able to use again. So you're just wasting that money on wood forms. So this is it was kind of a no-brainer for me to do the Monoslab EZ form, because if we did do the forming, I would have had to put insulation in there anyways, or take it down and apply insulation. A lot of times I guess they'll put it in their form and pour it, with the foam in there, but you're still that extra expense with all the foam. So this is kind of a one and done. So you can kind of look into it. And then the footing, so if I was going to do a concrete footing, this house we'd probably been pushing 40, probably about 40 yards. So somewhere in there, 35 to 40 yards. And in my area, concrete's about $220 a yard. So that's a pretty big expense, $7,000, $8,000 for a footing. I got the gravel. I can get a load of limestone in my area, 24 ton for about $700. So I had about I don't know, 1,400 bucks into the gravel footing, and then the $4,500 into the Monoslab EZ form. So overall, I had about what, 4,500 in the forms, 1,500 in gravel, so that's 45, 55, $6,000 on basically my footing, versus the concrete itself would have been about seven to eight, and then you still got rebar, and then you're still going to form. So I would have probably had 15 to 17,000 in a footing if I was doing it conventional, and that is with me doing it. That's not like hiring somebody else to do it either. So if you had to hire somebody, then that's going to add more cost to it. But so let me quit talking, and let's get to it.
Oh, mad.
All right, so we're cutting a few pieces of rebar. Here is our drain pipe with slots in it. Like I said, we are going to do the majority of the perimeter of the house. We're going to run it all the way against this bank, all the way around, and I'm going to put a drain. I think I'm going to drain it over there. I'm not 100%, but that's what I'm thinking. And then we've got some filter fabric. I couldn't get the pipe with the sock on it. That'd be the easiest. Of course, I can never do anything the easiest. So I've got some filter fabric. We'll kind of wrap the pipe a little bit, just kind of, that way sediment won't get inside the pipe, or it will take longer. And then we'll just put some, like 6 to 8 inches of limestone on top of it, compact everything. Then the styrofoam form will sit directly on top of the drain system, so it's really not compromising any of the structural integrity of the limestone footing. Oh, we just made a little end cap out of some filter fabric. It's not really going to be a huge amount of water once the house gets built. It will be quite a bit, you know, during the time that it's exposed. So that's probably the main reason why I'm putting the drain in there, is I don't want this to fill up and be a pool. But the rebar, we're just using rebar just to kind of help hold it. Once the gravel gets in there, it'll be fine. But I think I'm going to use that rebar kind of as grade pins for our gravel. So we're going to establish the height of our gravel now, how high I want the form to stick up out of the ground, and then we'll get the laser set up and drive those to the grade of the gravel. All right, so I'm trying to figure out the grade of my gravel. So this right here, that grade stake is the top of my, that is the top of my form, is what we set the batter boards to. So I just wanted to get it in the ditch and make sure. So I found that on my laser, and then I want a 4 to 4.5 inch slab, and then we're going to use a 1 inch. I'm going to use a 1 inch rigid foam. Where I live, it doesn't get harshly cold. I've used it on several other builds with radiant heat, and it works perfectly. I've not had any issues. I'm sure, you know, you can definitely add the R value if you want to, but in my opinion, it's kind of not necessary in my region. But I found, of course, I found the top of grade. Then I measured up on my stick 5.5 inches to allow for 1 inch foam, and 4.5 inches of concrete. And then I scanned over the top of the area here, and I will have to put about 2 to 3 inches, scatter about 2 to 3 inches of gravel on top of the dirt here. That way it will help with our plumbing and get everything leveled up. So that was not a major issue. And then now I should be sticking out of the ground around 7.5 inches on the front side of the building. Of course, it's going to vary. The back side over there kind of does drop off, so it is going to almost be out of the ground. But like I said, we are going to add, we will have backfill up against the house, and it will be, you know, it'll be fine. All right, so now we're taking the pins that we used to hold the drain pipe in there. I got the laser set up to the top of the gravel grade, and they're just gonna drive them home till we get to that, and then I'll start dumping gravel. Actually, we're gonna put a little filter fabric on there. We gotta do that first, and then we'll start dumping a little gravel on there. Definitely not the most ideal. Get the drain with a sock on it, but it will work. There, just start one wall, we'll start going, getting the rad all the way across there. Start on one wall and get it set. I'm sure it's not right all the way across there.
Do this?
No, get the gravel right. Well, it's going pretty good. Steve's been on the tamper for an hour. We are getting gravel in there, set to grade. We are going to set the grade, and then we're going to tamp it, and then we'll have to go back and of course adjust. We might have to put a little skim coat of stuff, a little rock here and there, which that's fine. I do have a sleeve right there. I put a 3-inch sleeve for my water line because I will be tying it in to the barn. I've got a meter, kind of a meter base over there, a meter box that I put a T in, so I can tee right into there. Thinking ahead, you know what I'm saying? But I'm about to jump back over on the other side and put some more rock in. Oh, maybe all right. Down, up. Hold on.
Loosey goosey.
That's right.
A little bit more. Keep going. Yep. Keep going. Yep.
Yeah.
There. There. Yep. Flat line. With Kevin Bacon.
Man, you can spread that. That lever was scoop. Open it up if we need to. I don't know if that'll make much of a difference.
Yeah, cut into it.
There it goes.
section out. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it'll be a mine because he'll sing it over and over. Every morning I come in, he's singing something, and then by the lunchtime, it's in my head.
It's like a sickness. Pass it on.
I thought we used a laser to get this right earlier.
What we use is not the same.
Is it? Has it moved?
I don't know.
You can just wait a minute. Because obviously.
Well, that'll give you an idea how far.
I mean, I can. So I can put the bucket and give you a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I've been, of course, in construction since 1994, but I started when on one of my big first houses. The client wanted to use a product called Superior Walls, and so I went up and saw how they made the walls, and we actually used them. We double stacked them. But Superior Walls is a precast concrete foundation, and their foundation sets on limestone. I was like very skeptical at first. I'm like, this can't be good, but man, I've been using them for 20 plus years and have never had the first foundation issue at all. I really like the limestone footing. To me, it I don't know, I think, you know, we are in an earthquake zone. I think we would hold up better, just in my personal opinion, if we did have an earthquake. You're sitting on a bed of gravel, it's going to kind of do this versus, you know, it's going to move just a little bit versus being bonded to concrete. Concrete could potentially crack, and then you'd have huge problems down the road. But the limestone, especially on basements, is perfect because your whole basement is a drain, basically a huge French drain. On a conventional basement, you've got a footing, your wall sets on it, then you've got a place for hydrostatic pressure to get into the basement. With the limestone, it's not. It just freaking runs under your house all the time, no issues. I've never had an issue with a leaky basement using Superior Walls. So limestone, it doesn't seem like it would do much, but man, it's got a lot of pros to the using the limestone. And seeing the Superior Walls guys install the basement systems, I've taken a lot of their methods as far as like leveling up the gravel. I took these little bars, pushed rebar, welded them on there. We beat them into the ground, set them to the desired height with the transit, and now we've got a screed we can use to get the gravel pretty dang flat. And then another one you'll see is we're going to put our strings back up, and then we will run a string on the gravel and then paint it. So that's what they do. They just paint a line on to the gravel, set their walls to it. So we'll use that. But yeah, very cool process. We did get the drain. I got the drain dug out on the back corner back there, and then this morning I will probably go over to that side and dig a drain out, because it is supposed to rain this weekend, and I want to be sure to be able to get that water out of my footing. We're on the last final bit. We got I didn't run the drain all the way. I just tied the drain, teed it, put a T in it, and then kind of just stubbed it out from the footing about, I don't know, the foot. And so now I've got some of the strings back up. Like I said, we're going to paint we'll find make sure everything is still square. Our batter boards hadn't moved, and get ready to do that. Later on, I will go ahead and just trench that out into the yard out there and terminate it. That way water will get out of there. Here is the drain that I got on the end of the house. So I started up there about the window, just brought it out here to where it just kind of daylighted out. I really haven't done with anything with it as of yet, so I just got a little zip tape and a couple holes in it just to let the water out of there. But it really doesn't catch a whole lot of water now that it's you know, got all the roof and everything in there. But it is just an extra layer of protection to get that water out if water ever does make it, you know, and stay in there. It won't get there and be stagnant. And the drain comes around the back of the house and then comes out right here. So I do have 2 drains on the house, and then my septic plumbing comes out somewhere in, oh, there it is. It's right here. So I just got it gravel piled in there so we don't get any critters or anything in there. That's why you check. That's why you check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, good. Go to the back. Hit that top button when you get there, Steve. All right, so now we're ready to paint the lines on the limestone for the footing. I mean, for the walls. So we've got our strings all set back up. I did another little tip from Superior Walls. Take a piece of cardboard, just cut it into a square. We'll nail it into the rock. Oh. That's it. So we'll nail the cardboard into the rock, set the laser up, and we'll get it plumbed to our intersection. We'll mark the cardboard, we'll put a string down, and then I'll paint it. Both ways. Get some more cardboard.
You know?
Just for that corner. Every corner. Other button. Wrong button. Good?
Yeah.
So now you peel it up, take your string up, and now we've got a line. Reverse osmosis line. So when we paint the line, we put the string down, spray it, pull up the string, and then we've got a negative string line, you know what I mean? It's not painted, so we just follow that, set the forms to it, and we're good to go. All of our lines are marked, and you know what time it is. Oh, we got our concrete forms. Never used them, went to Indiana and picked these bad boys up. So they're supposed to save time, save easier to work with, don't have to lay block, don't have to insulate anything later since it's all one step. So hopefully this really works really well. Pretty excited. Like I said, I never used this product, so We'll see how it goes. These are 16 inches tall, 16 inches wide, and they have a little I don't know, I guess a little void piece of styrofoam where you take a piece out, you put a 2x8 in there, and that stiffens the top. We get it installed. You screw your top band, your 2x8 together on all your intersections. Then you can, you know, string everything, and then you can we pin it. We'll have to pin it. I think you get 3 pins per piece of styrofoam. They're 8 feet long, and we'll kind of get them held together where they need to go, and then you can kind of partially backfill up against on top of the form. That way concrete's not going to push them. So that's kind of another factor too, that you can kind of go, you don't have to use all the additional wood framing if you do a monoslab and have that wall, that 16-inch tall wall. That'd be a lot of forming and framing versus just using a piece of styrofoam and some gravel. So hopefully it works really well. Yeah. So I ain't seen one of these out yet.
Just got it as a big block. Pour grout fill in it. So you gonna leave
That is.
leave that?
Huh?
You gonna leave this or break that off?
No, you cut it off whenever.
I mean, it said either or.
Yeah, I'll have to that way because we're actually going to form a brick ledge on there. So by the time we do the brick ledge, yeah, I'll have to cut it back, and then the dirt will go up to the brick there. I don't know. He said 4 pounds a piece. 4? That's what he said. Bundles are heavy.
Gonna do one at a time?
Do what?
Gonna do one at a time?
One wall?
Good.
Yeah, we'll get it.
This is the cutting edge right here, that face of that.
So, right there.
Yeah.
I'll need handsaw too. It says you can use wooden stakes, but where I'm at here in Northwest Tennessee, we have a little bit of a termite issue, so I'm not going to use wooden stakes. We're going to use rebar. So we're cutting into about 2-foot pieces, 2-foot lengths, and then we'll drive them down into the form. Alright, so this is a new process. We have never used it, so we're gonna have to figure out some things. There's a few YouTube videos on the factory itself, but on the EZ form, but they don't show anything about an inside corner. So we are mitering it. I got the chainsaw and we're mitering it. So we're gonna see how it works before we really show you. Okay, we've done a few corners. It is going to be a little bit of a learning curve because you can't really adjust, can't adjust the styrofoam, you know, when it's there. So it is kind of, like I said, we've never done it. It is going to take a minute to get it all figured out, but I think it's kind of cool. It is cool, you know. You're one and done once you put it on there. We are going to have to do, I think, some additional bracing before we go ahead and backfill it. But once we backfill it, I believe we won't have to have a ton of, of bracing. So once we backfill it, I think it will hold the concrete back just, perfectly fine. So yeah, we'll show a little video tomorrow on some of the installation. I just wanted to try to figure something out before, kind of get a method. So I think we've got it. So we'll show you tomorrow. On the outside corners, you just run your 2x8 long, and then you screw, you know, screw into there. So the 2x8 is what gives it the strength, you know, as far as the stability. The inside corners, I didn't have a video on that, so we just took the chainsaw and we mitered that son of a gun. And then I took some Craig screws in the corner. I'll probably come back with some brackets of some sort to do that. We had to Craig screw it because you can't really screw it from the backside because you'll never get the form. You won't get that 2x back out. So we use the Craig screws. So once we get everything, before we pour, I'll probably, like I said, either make a bracket out of some angle iron or maybe a Simpson bracket and just screw the hell out of it. So I'll see. But hopefully tomorrow we should, if we got a plan going, we should have most of it done tomorrow. No, I don't make it. Well, we're coming back. After yesterday, we kind of gonna go ahead and set strings. We got some short spans, so we're gonna set the strings to the top of the wall. Then we can measure down to the gravel, make sure it's right. We can throw in a little bit if we got just a hair of a low spot. But we're trying to make sure the gravel underneath the form is super level, because if it's raised up on the edge, it throws your whole form off. 16 inches, it'll make it out of plumb pretty quick. So we're going back and trying to get this edge. The edge is the most important, so we're trying to get it level. That way our form sets a little better, because there's not a whole lot of adjustment with the form, you know what I mean? And you put it in there, and there's not a lot of adjustability with this system. So I think that's kind of a drawback, but we're doing, you know, we're doing stuff to make it work. See that? Make it work, I think.
It'll probably change. You really put a rock underneath it. That's what I might just have to level it and tand it and see where we're at.
And a quarter long. 72 string there. 72 and about 3/8. 72 3/8. To the long of your miter. I'm gonna start carving bears in the mountains, in the Smoky Mountains.
Foam boat.
Up. Why we're so high?
Where's the ground?
I measured from here to our wall, it's 10 feet. We got a 2x8 cut.
Alright.
You on your string?
There it ain't.
Huh?
It ain't right there.
Well, then nothing, it needs to be right there.
There's a nail. Alright, go ahead. There you go, here's your nail. Tell you what, give me a little shovel of rock right here. GoPro, are we still recording? Alright, just right there in front. Okay, hold it. Hold on. Low. Get out. There you go. Make sure you're lined up.
Yeah.
Now go get that bottom one or get a brand new hole. A little keyhole for him.
And then toggle blade, loose blade.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, get an old sawzall blade or something. The one we still got. sure to check the corners.
Jam it out.
What?
Time I'm like, got ruined that song. That's the whole purpose.
If you're into precision forming like I am, I like everything to be right. This is probably not the best system to use. If you just get in there and throw it together and just want something to hold the concrete back, I guess it'll work. But as far as being able to adjust and do some different stuff, you know, make it precise, level. It's hard to get it level. It's hard to keep it straight. The forms are bowed, so honestly, I don't know if I'd even use these again. I'd probably just figure out a different way to do it. Probably just go ICF again like I usually do. But I thought this might be a little better. Not so much. I'm not too happy with this system. But I mean, as long as it works, it works. So you learn, you live and learn. So we've got all the forms in except that back. I'm gonna leave that out so I can get the backhoe in here if I need to, in case we got to dig for the plumbing. I don't think we might have to over here on this side just a little bit, but overall I don't think we'll really have to get in there. But I just wanted to make sure I could get in here. We can put a little gravel in here. I do have a bucket that goes on my forklift, so I'm not really worried about filling inside here, driving inside here with the to fill the gravel. But I think now we're gonna have a brick ledge detail on the majority of this, which I'm gonna screw a couple 2x4s together, and then we'll screw it from the outside with the structural screw. That way we can take that out later. The way they show you, they kind of build up on top of the screed board, the 2x8, kind of build it up, but I don't really want to get my height. I don't really want to bring my height up anymore, so we're going to inset it down into the concrete, and then I think I'm going to use the brick ledge form as kind of a screed. You know, the other day I said it was kind of hard. I don't know if I'll use them again. I don't know. I probably will. It's just new, having to figure stuff out, but I think we can come back, use the brick ledge detail as the final grade, get it a little more level and true. But I think it'll work. And then since we're gonna have a brick ledge, since we're gonna have a brick ledge, I am going to install some rebar. We'll stick it into the form and then run a rod. We'll just run 1/2 inch bar all the way around, bend the corners and everything, give that brick ledge a little extra support, just a little more holding power. Some of it's only going to be like 3 feet, 4 feet tall on the brick, but some of it is going to do full gables. So probably on those full gables we may go a little more extra, get a little more crazy with the rebar just to give a little more support. But the majority of it we'll just have 1 bar around there. So we've got everything backfilled. Cameras. We got everything backfilled. It's cool this morning too. We just use the gravel. I think it'd probably be a little better than using dirt right off the bat. You use dirt and you're gonna have to walk around in mud, so I have to use gravel to keep the site a little cleaner and just easier to work with. but we're going to talk about rebar. So now we are going to have a brick ledge around the entire, basically around the entire thing. So we're wanting to put some structure, some support underneath that brick ledge. So we are using rebar. So got Steve and Jimmy are over there bending up our rebar pieces. Let me see one of those. So here is one of them. We just bent a little leg, 16 inches total, about a 4-inch, 5-inch bend down. I was afraid if we just stub them into the foam, that once we pour the concrete, the weight of it will just knock them out. So put a little leg on them just to kind of hold it up in the middle, or on the bottom portion of the concrete. So it gives it support. We measured up 4 inches, chalked the line, Brent drilled some holes, and that way we kind of keep everything nice and true and flat. All right, let's talk about strength and like a footing rebar placement. I placed it about 4 inches up off of the gravel footing there, because that's where the strength is in when you put your rebar in. It's kind of in the bottom. It's in the bottom. You want that strength in the bottom versus at the top. At the top, you're really not supporting, you know, if you raised it 4 inches from the top, you're really only supporting that 4 inches up. So you get it close to the bottom. It doesn't need to lay on the ground, of course, but it needs to be up in the concrete a little bit. So about 4 inches up. That's why your rebar chairs are, you know, usually about 3 inches, 3.5, 4 inches tall, because they want that strength in that bottom layer of concrete. So I opted to come up 4 inches. And then I'm out from the wall about 2 inches, because my brick ledge is going to be 3 inches. So I wanted that support on that outside column. I do have some full gable walls that we will be doing with brick. I may run a couple layers and then do a little more beefing, you know, in that area. But this will definitely hold that concrete really well. And then I got wire sheets. We got foam. I went and picked up some Subterra, Halo Subterra foam. It is made for under concrete wet locations. Very cool insulation. I will definitely talk about that. And then our wire, I got wire sheets to go on top of that, because we're going to strap the radiant heat to that as well. But I think I'll probably run my wire sheets. We'll bend them and kind of do this corner, get a little bit of support right here. So I don't know, just keep on. We'll keep on and getting this slab ready. All right, so we're going to talk about brick ledges. We are forming up a brick ledge. A brick ledge is basically a void in the concrete. In this case, we're going to do 3.5 inches by 3 inches and screw it through the 2x8 that I used on this system right here. I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, how are we going to do that? Yeah, on the videos for the EZ form, they show you to go up on top, which is you could do that. That's no problem. Seemed like it might get a little weak, you know, but so what I've decided to do is take the 2x8. We took 2 2x4, screwed them together. That way I have a 3-inch deep brick ledge, and then use the 2x8, pre-drilled a hole, and then used a big Simpson timber screw, 6 inches, to come all the way through the 2x8 and mount the brick ledge to the foam, to the structure. And then later on we can come take these out and remove the forms, the brick ledge forms, and we'll have a void in the concrete. Yo, check 1 2. Anybody recognize? Oh yeah, he's mic'd up. Let's go. All right, so to find the level, I did raise these up, I don't know, probably 3/8 of an inch, because these are kind of, they're pretty close, but just in case they're inconsistent, we are going to laser the top of our brick ledge, because that is going to be our final concrete height, our screed point. So we want to make sure that is super straight. So we just set the laser up, shot it down each wall, and then we will start here and then measure each fastening point and make it straight. So we're just pre-drilling for the timber screws. That way it don't really, we're not really pulling through the 2x8, it's just actually going into the wood. We're just going to screw these boards together. The hot battery. Get a hot woofer. Good. Good. Now we've got a set point. We'll measure our laser.
Between 4 1/4, 4 1/4 shot.
Up. Oh, down just a hair. Oh, right there. Right there.
Yep. About right in the middle, 4 1/4.
Up. Oh, sorry, down, 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 down. Oh, down. Where there? And I opted to use the laser just because we can pinpoint each wall. Sometimes you get with the regular transit, you know, if you don't hold the stick just perfectly correct, you're going to be out of level. So with the laser we can measure wherever each screw is, and make it, I think, a little more accurate, you know, versus trying to use the stick, because it will fluctuate with the stick. It's really good for grading, but for precision work, I don't know, not so much. So my idea on the brick ledge fastening with the big timber screws, it worked really well. I was pretty happy with it, but it kept everything pretty straight. And the 2x8 actually, you know, we really made that rigid now, so I'm happy with it. I think it's going to turn out really good. And like I said, just at first I was kind of thrown by, you know, a new product and a new way to do it, and so maybe I rushed it a little bit before I threw some negativity to it, but it's going to work good. All right, y'all. That was my video on how we prepped all the gravel for our footing and installed our EZ form by Monoslab. On our next video, we are going to get into the slab insulation. Well, actually, I had to do a little plumbing before that. I don't remember how much video I got on the plumbing or
or the gravel prep before we can put the installation down. So I'm a little foggy on that one. So I don't know exactly if it will be, there'll probably be some plumbing involved, but I think the main episode is going to be the under slab insulation, which I'm going to use the Halo Subterra. I ended up using Halo Subterra. It's an 1.5 inch thick product. It's got a vapor barrier on it. Really, really cool product. It is made for under slab. It's got a, I forgot what the PSI rating on that is, but it is designed to be put underneath a slab and concrete rest on top of it. As far as using the EZ form by Monoslab, man, once we got the hang of it, I was all right. The biggest problem that I found with it was the adjustability. But once I kind of figured out that we could adjust the grade to the concrete with the brick ledge, that made a huge difference. Like I said, I think in the video I did say something about some of the forms were kind of bowed. They were. So that definitely, if you had a flat spot and you put it on there and they were kind of cupped, a couple of them different ways that they were bowed. So they weren't sitting on there nice and flat. That was an issue. It's an issue for me anyway. And we had so many corners on this, it kind of really didn't speed up the process as fast as they advertised, but this is the first one we've done. I did have multiple corners. A lot of the footprints and stuff they show are basically rectangle. You know, if you're just doing a rectangle, hey, get in there and get it done. But we had multiple inside corners, outside corners, so that did slow up the process a little bit. But overall, maybe 2 days, I think, in all, maybe 3 days with getting the gravel and stuff in there. So it was a lot quicker than having to form up with wood, I tell you that. But I believe I would definitely use the product again. So if you're into getting ready to start on a project, you might want to check into them. I don't know. I think there's a lot of benefits using them, especially the thermal break with there and being insulated as good as they are. Once again, I am Keith Dykes. Thanks for watching. You guys have a wonderful afternoon.